One of the oldest and most heated rivalries in sports will take center ice this week, as the Toronto Maple Leafs and Montreal Canadiens are set to meet in the NHL playoffs for the first time in 42 years. The pandemic forced the NHL to create an all-Canadian division, with 4 of 7 teams guaranteed to make the 2021 postseason. The star-studded Maple Leafs finished first in the North Division, while the blue-collar Canadiens grabbed the final playoff spot. There is plenty of bad blood in the original 6 rivalry, so let's get you prepared for puck drop. Sit back, relax, and let's do that hockey? Is that what we're going with? Before we get into the video, I just want to take the time to let you guys know to subscribe to our channel. You're watching the video anyways. If you like what you're seeing, you might as well. Now back to hockey. First things first, despite not meeting in the playoffs since a Montreal sweep in 1979, these teams and their fan bases really don't like each other, and it's a rivalry that's been passed down from generation to generation. There's even a famous Canadian short story called The Hockey Sweater about author Roch Carrier's real-life experience in 1946 Quebec of accidentally receiving a Maple Leaf sweater instead of a Canadiens one from a mail catalog. The child is ridiculed by his peers, and his coach won't let him play. Generally, Habs fans, as they're known, look at the Leafs as a snobby organization, favored by the national media despite their track record of falling flat on their faces in the playoffs. Leafs fans, meanwhile, tend to be jealous of Montreal's 24 cups and the general prestige surrounding the organization, or so they say. The Leafs and Canadiens historically also served as a proxy for a larger cultural division between English and French-speaking Canadians. And there's arguably no more iconic arenas in hockey history than Toronto's former Maple Leaf Gardens and the Montreal Forum. This year's postseason matchup between the Leafs and Canadiens marks the 16th time the two historic franchises have faced off in the playoffs. The first time was 104 years ago, in 1917, in the NHL's first season, when the then nameless Toronto hockey team beat the Montreal Canadiens in the NHL Championship in 2 games with a total score of 10-7. The most recent time was 1979, when the dynastic 70s Canadiens team dispatched the Leafs in a sweep for the 2nd straight season. In between, the sides have alternated the upper hand come playoff time. 1947 marked the first all-Canadian final since 1935, with the Leafs taking a best-of-7 series 4 games to 2. The two teams would face off again in the 1959 and 1960 Stanley Cup final, but both times it was the Canadiens who came out on top, with the latter being Montreal's 5th straight title. Montreal's Maurice Richard then escalated things further when he poked fun at the Toronto crowd during the Cup ceremony.
It's always nice to win the Cup outside of Montreal, and the best place to win it is right here in Toronto, because
Toronto then won its last Stanley Cup in 1967 and hasn't even appeared in one since, with a 4 games to 2 win over Montreal. It also marked the last finals of the original 6 era. Between 1981 and 1998, the Leafs and Canadiens played in separate conferences due to league realignment, leaving the Cup final as the only possible meeting ground for the two storied franchises. It almost happened in 1993, but Leafs fans probably don't want to relive what happened, but we'll tell you anyways. In Game 6 of the conference finals versus Wayne Gretzky's LA Kings, and with the Leafs up 3-2 in the series, Gretzky wasn't called for a high stick on Doug Gilmour in overtime and went on to score the game winner.
Overtime gets it back center, they score! Gretzky scores! And the Los Angeles Kings defeat the Maple Leafs.
The Leafs lost the series in 7, depriving fans of a highly anticipated Toronto versus Montreal Stanley Cup final. The 1993 Montreal Canadiens were also the last Canadian team to hoist the Stanley Cup trophy. And while league realignment has since brought the Canadiens and Leafs back into the same division, they haven't faced off in the playoffs since. This season, due to pandemic-related travel restrictions between Canada and the United States, the NHL created the North Division, which constitutes all 7 Canadian franchises. All 7 teams faced off against each other in a shortened 56-game season, with 4 teams from each division advancing to the playoffs and facing one another, before advancing to face other divisions. And that's how we get to the present day, where a rivalry that has been, 104 years in the making is being rekindled. The Leafs are led by Austin Matthews, arguably the best scorer in the game today, and Mitch Marner, one of hockey's best playmakers. Sadly for Toronto fans, there won't be any live attendance, but they're not only favored over Montreal, but might have a legitimate chance to break their 54-year Cup drought. Montreal came out of the gate hot this season, but began to spiral before ultimately firing head coach Claude Julien in February. The X factor for the Canadiens, as always, is goalie Carey Price. Though his numbers have dropped off a cliff over the past few years, he remains capable of stealing a series, and Montreal's best chance at an upset is to goad the Leafs into playing a grittier, lower scoring game. However, Price hasn't played for the Habs since April 19th due to a concussion, but he is expected to dress for Game 1. On paper, it appears to be pretty lopsided, but in the NHL playoffs, anything can happen. This specific Canadiens team is no stranger to pulling off playoff upsets, beating the Pittsburgh Penguins last season in the qualifying round. So, what do you think? Will the Leafs come out on top, or will it be the Canadiens? Let us know what you think in the comments, and let's do that hockey? Seriously, who is writing this?